Welcome on, y'all. It's Dimz, and today I'm going to give you my first impressions of Dungeons of Aether. Now, this is a game that I've been looking forward to for over a year now, and I'll just like to let you know I am playing the demo version, so it's not the full version, it's just the demo. However, me waiting for this game over a year and playing the demo, I'm just going to tell you right out the gate, I love this game and I'm going to be playing this a lot when it finally does come out. So I guess the first things first is, what is this game? Well, Dungeons of Aether is made by Aether Studios, the same studios that brought you Rivals of Aether and I guess Lovers of Aether. They have that little thing going with their naming scheme so far. And this is them actually taking a crack at making an RPG-like game. Specifically for this game, you can think of it as a turn-based dungeon crawler. But going strictly based on the tags of the game, it's a turn-based dungeon crawling roguelite RPG. So let's start with something simple. My impressions on the story so far. Well, it's basically your bog standard story. Thousands, millions, or hundreds of years ago, there's this dark evil that came onto the land, and all the nations, all the four elements of Aether had came together and basically sealed that darkness away and probably put it underground or something. And then years and years later, we find out that people are now going through those undergrounds because there's treasure everywhere. And I guess, we'll probably stumble onto that dark evil one of these times and we'll have to go down there to seal it again or something like that. So, it just gives you a reason to go in the mines why we are dungeon crawling. We're probably doing it for treasure, or we're probably doing it to stop this mining company that is introduced in the first act of the game. So basically, people want treasure, people want adventure, and they might get some darkness in without even knowing it. It's your typical story so far. What I am interested in is the combat and how the game plays. Well, in Dungeons of Aether, you are going into a dungeon or mine, or depending on wherever you go, so let's just call it dungeons, it's in the name. And you basically walk around and you choose which spaces you want to go to. If an enemy is on that space, you start a battle. If a treasure chest is on that space, you try to unlock it. And if a doctor is on the space, you can actually pay them to heal you while you're in there in your long exploration. So now when it comes to battle, it has a really cool and unique take on a turn-based system, which it really drew my eye. So basically, when you enter battle, you have a few stats. You have attack, defense, accuracy, speed, and stamina. Basically, with these stats, every turn, you have a pool of 6 dice. No, 6 dice, my bad. You have a pool of 6 dice that goes on the field, and you and your opponent get to choose from these dice. So you choose a dice, and you know that the computer will choose a dice. And you keep choosing until you get out of dice. So basically, you get a choice of 3 dice. And the computer can choose any dice that you don't choose. You have to choose one at a time. So it kind of gives you, so from right then and there, it gets your mind turning of what kind of strategies you're going to have with whatever's in the dice pool. But then on top of that, there are colored dice to your specific stats. If the colored die matches your stats, it will increase that stat by that amount. If it doesn't match your stat, it will flat increase it by 1. There are a few exceptions, but that's basically the gist of it. While you're doing your attack each turn, you have to make sure that you can attack. If your attack is higher than your enemy's defense, it will hit. And if your speed's higher than your enemy, you will go first. And when it comes to accuracy, if your accuracy is high, the more accuracy you have, the more available moves that you will have to choose from, because each of your moves will cost accuracy points. So if it costs you 4 accuracy points to do a certain move, you gotta make sure that your accuracy is over 4 or you won't be able to do that move, as well as having your attack over your enemy's defense, and maybe even want to keep your speed high so you can actually go first. So just right then and there got me intrigued, because of all different decision makings and strategies you could just come up with right then and there. And then on top of that, they have the last stat, stamina. Stamina is more of a combat stat, where you can gain it out of combat by going to certain places, maybe equipped in certain items. But stamina, it freely goes with you. And with your stamina, you can spend your stamina points to increase any of your other stats by 1, depending on how much stamina you have. So if you have 2 stamina, you can increase anything, you can just spread it any way you want, or just put 2 in any stat. Now the thing is about stamina, since it's more of a out of combat thing, it will always stay the same whether you're in combat or out of combat. So let's just say you walk into the mines and let's say you have 3 stamina on you. Well, if you spend all 3 stamina on your first battle, you will have 0 stamina for the remaining battles unless you find or do something to increase your stamina. So it's kind of like an extra resource that you have. And also the enemies have it too. So if, sometimes you might think you might have an enemy saying, oh, I can attack them. But if they have their stamina and they spend it that turn on defense, you might not be able to attack them that turn. It's actually really cool, and I really like how it's done. And honestly, on top of that, it just gets deeper and deeper, because during the game, one thing I found out is items. Some items like consumables will give you increased health. It might give you increased stat for that certain turn. It might give you more stamina, and it might be equipable to your main weapon. You can probably have different weapons, but you might have to equip items to your weapons to give it different attributes. Like in the demo, they give you a pendant for your bow. This bow pendant in the demo will eliminate any of the enemy's dice that they choose to use that has a total of 1. So if they have any one-sided dice that they add to their stats, you will automatically eliminate it. However, each of these pendants and equipments you put on your weapons have a usage limit before they break. So you might be shooting off their one-sided die, but you might only be able to do it like 6 times throughout your run or throughout you having the pendant. And you can always de-equip the pendant too, so you can just save it over time. So you can save its durability so it won't break on you in this fight, or you can choose what fight to use it on and equip it in. It's actually really cool. And then on top of that, each character has abilities. The main character, Fleet, it shows that she doesn't have an ability, whether that's for the demo or at all, but your other characters that you'll be playing as will have abilities. And it's just gonna get deeper and deeper with the strategy, and I can see that this game is gonna take a lot of thinking and a lot of luck, and I'm here for it. I'm very excited for this game. Now, there's only one little gripe that I have with this game when it's based on the demo, and it's just messes with my visual clarity, is that your hearts in this game is white and on a red background. When I was playing this game, I got confused on how many hearts I had left, because whenever you lose a heart, it diminishes into this faded red. But because of my brain being stupid, when I saw red hearts, I thought that's how many hearts I did have, and the whites were empty spaces. Looking at the video, I can't see what I saw, but basically I got confused on how much hearts that I actually have. Since it's white, it goes from white to red. Personally, I would like to change that. Maybe they can make their hearts go to red to black, or just remove how faded it looks to make it more faded, or maybe even make it gray or just look like empty spaces. I know the faded red is supposed to make it look like empty spaces, but I was just getting confused. It's probably just me, but I would like that to change. That was basically my only nitpick. One thing I did like is when I usually saw people playing this game, I always saw them using a mouse, which obviously is probably going to be a really good way to play this game, but it made me fearful that this game wasn't going to be played on controllers. Well, playing the demo, you could use a controller, which means I could be a nerd and use my fight stick. And I think the last thing, when I was playing this game, I was getting the feeling like this game will be perfect on mobile devices. I don't know, I just keep getting this weird feeling that when I was playing, I was like, this feels like a mobile game. I don't have games on my phone, but if this game was available for the phone, I would definitely get it, because it seems like this is a perfect game to be a good brain teaser and a time waster when you're out and about, maybe waiting for something or just trying to kill some time. It makes it like the perfect mobile game with this game setup. So honestly, that means this game on Steam Deck would probably be the best. Now, if they port it to Nintendo Switch, that'll be good as well. But I feel like this game would be best on Steam, so Steam Deck might be the play. And knowing Aether Studios, it seems like they're really into the workshop functionality, especially when you look at rivals of Aether. And they already said that for this game, workshop is going to be a thing. So that means, well, it might not be there on launch, but it might be there down the line. So that means you probably want the Steam version so you can actually look at users created dungeons, maybe even custom created characters with different abilities, different kind of attacks, all that awesome customization that could be brought to you, that even if this game was brought to the Switch, you'll just be missing out on a plethora of extra goodies and content when you're playing this game. So you can make sure that it just keeps getting more and more content. But so honestly, yeah, feels like a mobile game. This will be a great game for mobile, a great game for Steam Deck. But I feel like the Steam version will be still superior, even if it does come to Switch or mobile or something like that. And I am increasingly happy and waiting for this game to come out. I'm going to be really annoying when it comes to this game, not when it comes content-wise, well, probably, but mostly is whenever I have talking videos, this is probably the game that you're going to see in the background a lot. Anyway, I've been Dimz, and this was my impressions of Dungeons of Aether. I am really excited for this game, can't wait till it drops, and I'm going to be playing a lot of it. I hope you all have a great day.